Hello students, today we are to learn the qualitative analysis, inorganic qualitative analysis. Now analytical chemistry, it actually deals with the qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. We are going to study qualitative analysis. Now what is qualitative analysis? Suppose a substance is given to you. You are asked to identify that substance. What that substance is. Like table salt, now that you know it is sodium chloride, you will say it is sodium chloride. But how scientists came to know that it is a sodium chloride? That is, they performed various tests and they identified that sodium ion is present and chloride ion is present, a cation and an anion present in the given salt by performing series of tests like say preliminary test, dry test, wet test, a separation of cations into groups for cations. So for cations and anions, we have a set of tests to be performed to identify what is a cation and what is an anion in the given salt, and that's how we identify the substance. Now in the 12th standard, you have got this kind of a lab manual to refer to under Goa board prescription, and for 11th standard, this is the type of lab manual. Both lab manuals are same, but the cover is different. On page number 60, the analysis starts, inorganic qualitative analysis starts, starting from the preliminary tests. Page number 60 is the preliminary test. Now what are the preliminary tests? Preliminary test consists of color, heating in a dry test tube. And what are the observations? Color, what is the observation? Then flame test you will perform. Test for ammonium ion. So these are the four main tests which you are going to perform in preliminary test. Now preliminary tests actually are for both cations, to identify a cation and an anion. So by performing series of tests, initially at least, you come to know the clue regarding the presence of cation and an anion. Now you go to perform the dry test. So some of the preliminary tests are also consisting the dry tests for cations, okay, especially for this lab manual which we have designed. And there are special dry tests which are there on page number 61 of your lab manual. So dry tests, there are four main tests that you are going to perform, that is action of dilute HCl on the substance. Now why these tests are called as dry test? You take a dry substance, a pinch of a substance in a test tube, and then to that you will add requisite reagent, perform the test and observe accordingly, and on the basis of the observation you conclude the presence of an anion. So for anions, the dry tests which are there, dry test means dry substance, pinch of a substance you are going to take and perform the test. After the dry test, both for cations and anions, we have got wet test. So wet test, why the name wet test? Wet test means you are going to prepare a solution of that substance in water, because in 11th and 12th we are going to give water soluble substances. So you are going to prepare water extract using only water. 10 milligrams of substance means about 1 spoon of the test. One small spoon will be given to you. That spoon, say 3/4 spoon or half a spoon, that you have to dissolve in one test tube of water in a beaker. Okay, one small beaker will be given, a 100 ml beaker, and you will prepare a solution which will be called as water extract, because you have dissolved that substance in water, and using that water extract you are going to perform series of tests. Now wet tests, they start from wet test for preparation of solution, which I told you, water extract, is on page number 62, and then you will start with the wet test from page number 63. These are the wet tests for anions. Okay, so you are going to perform wet tests for anions, series of wet tests. Then you are getting observation for which test? So performing preliminary test and dry test, what is the clue that you are getting for the presence of which anion? On the basis of that you are going to get wet test results. The moment you get a positive result for any of the wet tests, immediately the confirmatory test is there. So after wet test you are going to perform the confirmatory test. It is given below that wet test immediately. Okay. So this is how you are going to perform. But then for cations, after you find out or you confirm the presence, CT means what? Confirmatory test for anions. You are confirming the presence of say XYZ anion. Okay. So once you confirm the presence of anion, then you will go for the separation of cations or wet test of cations. So under wet test of cations, from page number 65, you have got detection of cations of group 0, then from group 1 to 6, how to separate the cations into groups. Now these groups, when I am saying group 0, group 1 to 6, these groups are not similar to the groups which are there in the periodic table. These cations are grouped together depending upon the similar test they give with a particular reagent, that is a precipitate formation. That is, you take water extract, you add dilute HCl, then the halides or chlorides are formed, then such cations are grouped together as group 1. So under that group 1 we have got lead salts. Okay, so lead iodide, lead chloride or lead halides for that matter, chlorides only will be formed, and lead is identified as group 1 cation. Under group 2 you have got only copper. There are many other cations also, but we have designed in the 12th standard Goa board syllabus, the cations of group 2 is only copper that we are identifying. So test 2 which is performed for separation of cations into group on page number 65 is water extract plus dilute HCl. You have to warm and then you have to pass H2S gas. So when you pass H2S gas into that solution, then the sulfide of that copper will be formed. So if at all you get black color precipitate of formed after passing H2S gas, then that group 2 is present. So for whichever group you get a precipitate, that group cation is present. So group 1, there is a lead salt. I will just write this. So group 0, it is ammonium ion. Group 1, it is lead salts, bivalent ion. Writing the valency or charge or oxidation number of that cation and anion is very important. Group 2 is copper ions. We are taken in our syllabus only these ions from group 0 to 2, and group 3 is aluminium ion, ferric ion and manganese ion, which you will be identifying by doing the step 3. Under group 4, the cations which are grouped together is cobalt bivalent ion, nickel bivalent ion, zinc bivalent ion, and manganese again. So manganese will be either detected in group 3 or it may also be detected in group 4. If you get a precipitate here, pink color precipitate, pink or brownish, light brown color precipitate, it is manganese. But if you don't, it doesn't get precipitate here properly, then it will get precipitate here in this group by performing step number 4. So this is step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4. This is how various steps you are going to perform. And step number 5 is for identifying group 5 cations. So group 5 cations are calcium, barium, calcium and strontium. Barium bivalent ion, calcium bivalent ion and strontium bivalent ion. We are going to identify in these groups. So these are our group 5 cations. And under group 6, we also have got group 6 by performing step 6. So if you don't get precipitate for any of these groups by performing step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't get precipitate. That means cations of group 6 may be present. And for group 6, we have got potassium monovalent ion and magnesium bivalent ion present in this group. Okay. So these are the series of tests, and the moment we get the group, then we have to do analysis of that group. See, analysis of the group, whichever group we get. So analysis of that group, suppose more than 1 cations are present in a particular group. Like from group 3, 4, 5, more than 1 cations are present in that group. So out of these, which one is present, that you need to shortlist. So for that we are again performing some test and then trying to identify which cation is present and then do the confirmatory test for that particular cation. And that's how you will be confirming the presence of cation and an anion. So once you determine the cation and anion present, like for example I will tell you, that is is say NO3 1 minus nitrate ion. Therefore, you will say therefore the given compound is. You have to write a correct formula. Therefore, the given compound is. How will you write a formula? Copper bivalent ion and NO3 1 minus ion. Like that you write down. And these powers without the sign you just cross it and write it as suffix. And therefore the given compound is CuNO3 twice. This is the pattern. Okay. Now what are the possible types of anions that we will be detecting? So possible anions that we are detecting. I just wrote the list of cations. The possible anions are all the halides, say chloride, bromide, iodide. Then NO3 we are detecting, sulfate we are detecting, or acetate. Acetate, these are all monovalent ions. Then we sulfate is bivalent ion. CH3COO, it's a monovalent ion. And then we are analyzing the sulfate, which is a bivalent ion. So this is a bivalent ion, is a sulfate ion. Then we have got oxalate ion, C2O4 2 minus. This is the oxalate ion that is also we are analyzing, or we are having as an anion given. And phosphate, PO4 3 minus. This is a trivalent ion. These are various types of anions that we are going to detect in the analysis, or it may be given to you for analysis, and all those tests are included in the lab manual as you from page number 60 to 70, almost 69 I will say. So on these pages the analysis is spread out. You don't have to write all the tests. Whatever you get, only that test is to be written. So when you come for actual practical, or when I am explaining further, I will explain you how to write this analysis in your notebooks.